And I think one of the things that we're really concerned about is getting criticised for what we are prepared to share on social media, and wondering how ethical we are being. And then also people picking up on us, because if we put an opinion forward, there's always somebody who might disagree with us. And I think it can be a real fear for us. And I'm going to be embarking on a new project next year. And I really think this is going to put me in the firing line for some quite unpleasant comments online. And you'll learn more about it as we go. And so I've been reading up about how to look after myself and what to do about the toxicity that can be around on social media. So I just wanted to share some thoughts with you today, because it often holds us back, doesn't it? That we're not quite sure what we can say and what we can't say on social media, and we really worry about getting it wrong. And part of that worry about getting it wrong is actually how to deal with criticism and the fear of being criticised when it comes up. So I can see there's a couple of people watching. So do say hello in the comments. It's lovely. I'm really pleased you're here watching, and welcome to anybody who's catching me up on the replay as well. So I've got 3 points about what to do about criticism on social media. And believe me, I have been criticised on social media. Hi, Emma Zoe, it's good to see you. And so I'm drawing from my own experience here as well. And I'm in no way suffering from the toxicity on social media that, say, a lot of the politicians go through. I'm glad to say I've never had a death threat or anything like that. So, and I know it's there's an awful lot of stuff that goes on that people have to cope with. But I'm just going to share a little bit about thoughts from my perspective. And the first thing I want to talk about is how we manage that initial moment when someone says something to us on social media. And I think what happens when we read something or we see something or we get pinged because we've got a notification, and you open it up thinking, oh, someone's commented on something that I've said. And actually the comment comes across in a way that really makes us feel crushed, and can be very triggering for us. Is in that moment, I think it's really important that we make a decision about how we're going to respond. And I think the most sensible thing to do is actually step away, is not to answer stuff straight away. And as you know, I manage a big Facebook group, and there's often situations that come up where, I'm either being asked to adjudicate, or someone says something and it sets something off in me, or someone contacts me on Messenger and points something out, and I wonder if I've done something wrong, I've approved something wrong. It's all this stuff that comes up that is involved in being on social media. And the thing that I've really found helpful is to give myself some space, and actually to acknowledge that when I'm getting that fear and that rush of fear, so it can be, I'm pointing to my heart because I feel this sort of feeling, and then there can be a sort of sinking feeling, like a stone in your stomach, thinking, oh, what have I done wrong? It can be really horrible. So hi, Pat, hi, Hayley, and hi, someone who is a Facebook user, who I'm not quite sure who that is, but thank you very much for being here. Yeah, and it's a really horrible feeling when you're faced with criticism, and your mind does go to, what does this mean to me? And, you can get quite, you want to defend yourself because it feels like an attack on you. And Emmy Zoe said it's the public humiliation that is the hardest. And I think, that's, it is really horrible. And the thought of what people are going to think of us is like, it's just a horrible, horrible feeling, isn't it? And so I think the really important thing is to take some time and see if you can find some sort of mechanism to bring down the fear in you. And, for me, that might be something like going out for a walk. It's often I've got someone who I trust, that I can speak to, that I can share it with, and just having the opportunity to get someone else to have a look at it as well, because often, because it's very personal to us, I think it can seem a lot bigger to us than it does to somebody else. And if you can get someone else to review it and help you with it, that can often help to reduce that tension and that feeling. I mean, obviously, our first, often we sort of like think, well, I'll just take it down. But, partly I think, well, why should you take stuff down? If this is what you're really thinking, just because someone disagrees with you and might disagree with you in an unpleasant way, should that silence you? And I think this is often when having someone else to come and have a look at it can really be helpful, because, they can look at it more logically and from the perspective of the objective perspective. I think that can be really helpful. Yeah, Pat said, I've definitely felt the whole world is shaking its head at me. And I think this brings me on to my second point, which is about coming back to where you're coming from and what your intention is when you're actually posting something. So say you're posting something for your clients or potential clients, or reaching out sort of to your network because you're marketing your business. I think it's important to remember that you don't have to appeal to everybody. And good marketing, not only does it attract people to you, but it also repels people as well. And an example of this is I've been following on and off this particular woman who does all about how to do live feeds. And I sort of picked up on her last year, and I followed her a little bit. And so she pops up on my feed every now and then. And the other day, she actually put quite a religious story. It was like a prayer. And I looked at the story and I thought, oh, I didn't know she was religious. And part of me thought, oh, she's religious. But as I've gone on to think about it, I've thought, and I've gone back and looked at the story, and I thought, actually, what she's saying there, I've got a faith as well. And so actually, it's actually made me feel a bit more inclined to follow her, because we've got something more in common. But for people who aren't religious, they might be put off, but that's all right, because she is going to appeal to people who get her and who want to work with her. And sometimes if we put people off working with us, that is no bad thing, because they probably wouldn't have worked very well with us anyway. And that's the hardest thing to get our heads around, is that we don't want to attract everybody. We want the people who we work well with. Those are the people that we want to attract. So just to say that, don't worry too much if it's putting people off. But coming back to this intention, what was your intention when you posted something? And Brené Brown says that if she goes into a situation with the intention that she wants to be authentic, then if she gets criticized, it's not as shaming, because she's not going into this situation, seeking to prove anything. She's going into the situation to share something that she believes in, that's her authentic voice, that chimes with her values. And she says, and then if people come and they don't like what she's saying, it's actually much easier to hold on to who she is as a person, because she's come from that place of authenticity, where she says, if she goes into it sort of wanting to perform and getting validation from the activity, that's when she's more likely to feel shame if someone criticizes her. So think about, what is your intention when you're posting? And the fact is that not everybody is going to like us. Not everybody is going to get us. But if we can sit with our intention and what it was when we posted, that can help us feel more resilient to the criticism when it comes up for us. So the first thing to do is step away from it, talk it through with someone, or whatever you need to do to help you feel grounded again. The second thing is to come back to your intentions and what it was there for. And then the third thing I'd like to share with you is the idea of where you're getting your validation from. And this fits very nicely with what Brené Brown says, because if you're seeking to get your validation from, lots of people agreeing with you, you being some sort of big social media star or whatever it is. I'm sure you don't think that, but I'm rather craven. I do like my likes and follows. So if my only intention is to get lots of people liking and following me, if I do something that then means a whole lot of people turn on me, or people think, oh, I don't like that woman anymore, and I lose all my followers, if that's the only reason why I'm doing it, then that's really going to affect me. Whereas if I'm holding on to my intention and what I'm doing is coming from an authentic place, then I'll know that the people who follow me, who agree with my mission and my purpose, they won't be put off by whatever's happened. And quite often your followers will actually come in and support you. But the other thing to think about is, where else do you get your validation from? So my life shouldn't just be around, how many likes and follows I'm getting, how successful I am on social media. My life should be around more things than that. I'm not only this figure on social media, but also, I'm a mother to my three beautiful children. That's really important to me. I'm somebody who's a good friend, and I've got good friends, and I love spending time with my friends. And so I'm a person who has friendships. I'm a woman who enjoys my daily walks. I'm somebody who enjoys working out with my PT. I'm somebody who's got a husband that I love. There's all these other parts to me, not just Josephine, who's on social media. And I don't know if any of you have ever read the book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. And Susan Jeffers talks in there about, if you put everything into your relationship, then when you've lost that relationship, you're left feeling empty. And she talks about how you should have lots of different parts of your life, so that if you lose that relationship aspect of your life, instead of it being this great big hole, yes, there is a hole there, but it's only a small part of your life as opposed to the whole of your life. And I think that's just a really good way of looking at what happens to us when we're on social media as well, that it's just a very small part of our lives. And although it might mean it's uncomfortable for us, we've got all our other structures in our life that give us meaning, that give us purpose, that give us validation, that give us relationships. And after all, those relationships in real life, they're the real relationships, aren't they? The people that we see in real life, they're the people who actually really know us. Because however hard we try and get to know each other on social media, we still don't really know each other. Although, I do love chatting to people and getting to know them, but it's always a bit different when you meet them in real life, isn't it? They always turn out to be bigger or smaller or shorter or taller than you expect. So that is just some thoughts on criticism and social media, just to run through the 3 points again. So the first one is to give yourself time before you respond, to just step away from it before you do anything, and see if you can bring in some exercises that will lower the reactivity within you. And the second thing is to come back to what the post was about and what you were trying to say, and holding on to your intention. And the third thing was to have a wider sense of validation than just what you're getting out of social media, because then you've got support in all of your life. So even if you get criticised, and even if it's valid criticism and you've made a mistake, you've still got these other relationships in your life to support you.